Disney was warned for years that a live-action Snow White remake was a disaster waiting to happen. But they said, "We'll do it our way," and they failed hard. Theaters were empty. The film flopped at the box office, making half of what Disney projected. It got a humiliating 1.6 rating on IMDb and just 20% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The CGI dwarves? Straight out of a nightmare. Even real dwarf actors who were replaced with 3D characters are now suing Disney for discrimination. And you know what's even crazier? Walt Disney himself once said he didn't want anyone to remake or change Snow White, but they didn't listen. They cast Rachel Zegler, and she rewrote everything to fit the message. She called the original prince a stalker, said Snow White doesn't dream about love anymore. She wants to be a leader. Then she asked for a higher salary, saying, "I stood in a dress for 18 hours. Pay me." The backlash was brutal. Things got so intense that Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, had to be assigned bodyguards due to threats. And Zegler, instead of apologizing, she said, "I am exactly who you thought I was. I'm a narcissist." She thought she was being funny. She wasn't. But the hate didn't start with Snow White. It goes back to 2018, when Rachel was just 16. A friend sent her a casting call for West Side Story. No agent, no experience, just raw talent. Out of 30,000 auditions, Spielberg chose her. She won a Golden Globe. People were stunned. Some even cried industry plant. But still, it was a modern Cinderella story. She could have been Hollywood's fresh new face. But then it all went downhill. After West Side Story, she landed the ultimate role, Disney's new Snow White, and announced it on Twitter like this: "Yes, I'm Snow White. No, I'm not bleaching my skin for the role." She deleted it, but the damage was done. In the original story, Snow White is white as snow. It's not just a name. It's part of the fairy tale's identity. Zegler, a Colombian actress with olive skin, triggered debate. Were there racist comments? Sadly, yes. But most fans were just asking, why is Snow White not white? Disney had already faced similar backlash with The Little Mermaid, but that film still earned $560 million. Snow White, though, was a disaster from the start. Zegler said the movie was based on an alternate version, where Snow White survives a snowstorm. Not because of her skin, but her strength. That sounds inspiring. Until every interview made it clear, this wasn't Snow White, it was something else entirely. In a Variety interview, Zegler said, "This isn't about love or princes, it's about leadership and power. So why remake Snow White at all? Just write a new story." She kept going. The original cartoon? Kinda creepy. The prince? Basically a stalker. People were furious. This wasn't just a cartoon. It was the first ever feature-length animated movie in history, a personal project of Walt Disney himself. Zegler once said she was scared of the original, but photos later surfaced of her as a kid, dressed as Snow White, saying she dreamed of being a princess. So which is it? Then came Shazam 2. Asked why she joined, she said, "I needed a job." Not exactly what you want to hear from the face of your film. She later thanked the crew, but the damage was done. Then came the 2023 writers' strike, and Zegler became Hollywood's loudest activist, demanding higher pay, even though she was starring in mega-budget films and earning huge salaries. Suddenly, even her supporters turned away. Meanwhile, Disney kept making bad choices. They replaced the 7 dwarfs with magical creatures of all sizes and genders. Why? Because Peter Dinklage criticized the original story. But the real dwarf actors were outraged. "You took our jobs and gave them to cartoons." The result? Awful CGI, barely any screen time for the dwarfs, and a total lack of charm. Then came drama between Zegler and Gal Gadot. During press events, Rachel openly ignored Gal. Then, as the trailer hit 120 million views, Zegler tweeted, "Always remember, free Palestine." Gal Gadot, an Israeli who served in the IDF, publicly supported Israel. The fallout was immediate. She received death threats. Disney had to assign her security. Producers reportedly flew to Rachel to talk to her directly. One producer's son even tweeted, "My brother dropped everything to stop this actress from ruining the movie." And Rachel's political rants weren't new. She once tweeted, "I hope Trump and his supporters never find peace. I don't want to raise a daughter in this world." Spoiler, she doesn't have a daughter. This is a children's film, and she's the face of it. Yes, free speech is important, but there's a line between speaking out and sabotaging your own movie. In the end, Disney gave up. They made her apologize. They even hired a social media nanny to censor her posts. But it was too late. Snow White was released on March 21st, 2025. It bombed hard, made only $87.3 million on a $250, $300 million budget. Even The Little Mermaid, which also faced criticism, made $560 million. But Snow White had no love, no audience. and no future. And what did Zegler say after all that? Victory is standing in ruins piece by piece, but people still come to see, even broken. I hope you'll stand in line to see me. People were like, seriously? Your movie flopped and you're acting like a goddess. Even if her intentions were good, the way she spoke, arrogant, tone-deaf, and out of touch, alienated everyone. Let's be honest, Rachel acted well. She sang beautifully. But everything else? Total disaster. The visuals, cheap. The colors, dull. The queen? Not scary. The film felt empty, soulless. Final verdict? Disney needs to learn. Don't mess with classics if you don't know what you're doing. The internet warned them, fans warned them, and they didn't listen. Even Walt Disney said, leave Snow White alone. Maybe they should have listened. Smash that like button, subscribe to Fame Focus, and check out this next video right here.